So I wanted to go ahead and recap where we're at. I've had a chance to speak to each one of you individually. And so I'm going to talk about radical self-care tonight. And there's two ways that I'm going to talk about it with you after I recap. One is the things that I focused on in the book, and then also in general what we're looking at when we're looking at radical self-care and what that means. So by now you've written out your vision, and I hope that you all are inspired and moving toward the things that you want in your life. I think by talking to each one of you, you had a newfound inspiration. And when we go into the coaching part, I want you guys to ask any questions that you have in regard to your vision or what you've been coming up against. Like, have you been experienced resistance? Or have you gone into fear? Have you noticed any different thought patterns? Those are all kinds of things that we're going to want to look at throughout the program, because it's easy. The easy part is saying, yeah, we want to do this. And the harder part is taking the journey to get there. And more so than the outer journey, it's the inner journey that we really need to work on in order to get to the places that we want to go and to obtain the dreams that we want to have. So you've all put a spiritual practice into place. Some of you already had one and you're enhancing it. Some of you just started brand new. All of it is fine. The importance of it is that it's going to become really your foundation and your place that you go to whenever you're overwhelmed, whenever you're burnt out, whenever you're pissed off, whenever you can't deal with the outside world anymore. Your spiritual foundation is your primary tool for recentering and resetting yourself. And everybody can have their own experience of what God is, but you can always come back to this as your safe space. And probably in the future, I'm going to be sending you a meditation that will help you to create a safe space that you can go into when you're having emotional upheavals. I would love to tell you that as we start to embark on new journeys for ourselves, I'm sure that you've all done things in your life that you have stretched yourself to do. I know that when I embarked on my spiritual journey and I had these bigger dreams, you know, I was going for the bigger dreams that I really hadn't tried to attain in my life yet. And I thought by doing the work that everything was going to kind of magically always be better, which isn't really the truth. The truth is that no matter what we do in life, there's always going to be a new challenge. There's always going to be a bigger challenge. And it's how we react and respond to those challenges that make the difference. Especially between our own happiness and going into self-defeating behaviors. So another little point that I didn't talk to you about with your spiritual practices, there's two primary things that I want you to take a look at as you're forming your spiritual practice and as you're moving along the journey. Now, the program is about burnout and all of these crazy things that we do that really sometimes are not necessary. What happens when we have a vision or we have something we think that we want to do, oftentimes we take the wheel and we plan all of this stuff out that we're going to do, and we try to do it all because that's how we think that we're supposed to do it. And that's not conducive always to the amount of energy that we need to expend on something. So what I want you to focus on when you're doing your spiritual practice is I want you to focus on visualization, and I want you to focus on asking what your next steps are. Because the divine and the answers that you get from within will get you there so much quicker than if you do 10 things that you think you're supposed to do, or just listen to that still small voice within and take that step. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And then as you're also going through your spiritual practice, and I know that sometimes I'm trying to be really gentle with the assignments because, you know, here we are in this state of, oh my God, you know, one more thing on my plate to do. Ultimately, the spiritual practice is there to eliminate a lot of things for you. It enhances your trust. It allows you to surrender without the anxiety. And you learn to honor a natural divine flow. So I want you to practice and look at, or just, you know, be conscious of your own flow and what that looks like for you. Are you constantly, you know, do you have lists every day where you're running through the day, doing everything that you think you need to do and getting things done as a responsible adult? And just basically now you've turned into a zombie because you just do the same, you know, same thing day in and day out, rolling. I want you to try to get into tapping into that time when you're spending with spirit, when how you start to flow throughout your day. And try to take some time out to even get into flow. Some of you that work with art may already be able to tap into the creative flow process, but we can do this in everyday life, and we can continuously surrender to what's in front of us and be present for that as part of the divine experience. And a lot of what I'm saying right now becomes more, it's experiential. So in order to like really integrate it, it's about experiencing it and feeling it. And then once you do and you have that flow, it's about practicing how to get back there. There's a, I think it's one of the artists, Monet or what's the other, Picasso, the famous artist, that was always said, the work of art is within him, and the only thing that he needs to do is move out of the way. So his job, and I do this a lot when I'm doing my writing, is my only job is to remove everything in my being that's standing in the way of me birthing the book. In other words, my fear of failure, my procrastination because of my fear of failure, my not good enough beliefs, all of those things, that's my work. And my art that comes through that births from me moving that stuff out of the way. So practice honoring your flow, okay? And so that brings us kind of up to speed, where we're gonna go into what does radical self-care look like. And really the bottom line is, it's gonna be different for everybody, because how you care for yourself is really based upon what you enjoy, what you like to do. And it's also really about self-love. It's diving deep into that place of self-love. It isn't just going to get the nails done or, you know, going to the gym or doing things you like. It's also about the things that you tell yourself about those things. You know, a lot of us, I know I battle with this a lot, is when I'm tired, and that's why I got burnt out, is that I don't allow myself to rest, because there's something in me that thinks that I'm supposed to be busy all the time. Mm-hmm. And so I've really had to work on in my practice that it's okay. And why do I feel guilty if I slow down? You know, why do I feel guilty? There's a lot underneath, but I have to slow down to be able even to get to what is underneath. You know, what is that guilt about? And it can be different for everyone. So the three things that I focus on in the book are pertaining to energy levels. And that is your diet, your sleep, and your senses. Okay. So, and I mainly talk about the 5 senses, but there's the extrasensory perception as well, which probably if you're in my class, you probably are either an empath, a psychic, you have some sort of multi-dimensional gift that you've either are just tapping into or have already tapped into, and it's like a little bit crazy for you. So when you go into this module, I've only given you one assignment, which we'll talk about after I'm done giving you this part of it. The diet is important because it is the fuel to your body. So when we go into energetics, I think it might even be in the next module, I will be doing a long dissertation and class about energy, the energy body, the energy field, and how to care for it. But in this module here, we're going to look at the specifics of diet and your sleep, and then the 5 senses, because those are things that you have immediately control of and things that directly affect your energy body. So take a look at your diet, see what you're eating. When it comes to diet, everybody's body is different, you know, so you have to really determine for yourself what feels best for you. So for instance, I like to have a cup of coffee in the morning, a morning shake with all my superfoods, and a light breakfast. Then I eat a big lunch, and then I have a light dinner. That's what I found worked for me. I've done many, many different things. I've tried to go vegan, vegetarian. I have type O blood, so I need a little bit of meat. I don't eat a lot of meat, but that's me. So you have to find out really what works for you. The most important thing is for you to be conscious that everything that you're eating is affecting your energy levels. If you're eating a bunch of junk food all day and then wondering why you're tired, that's a piece of it. We have a holistic system. So look at your diet. You can make whatever changes you want, but be conscious of that. Also, your sleep patterns. I want to talk about sleep because in a modern society, we have the alarms, we have the schedules, and really our modern society has gotten super, super far away from our natural biorhythms, okay? And we are a mess because of it. A lot, you know, these are things that people don't realize in society are affecting the computer. The electromagnetic radiation on the computer is affecting our energy. We stay on the computer too long. We need to learn to cleanse our energy field to get reset. And for your sleep, a lot of us don't get enough sleep because we have a busy schedule and we wake up to alarms being set. I don't know. I don't use alarms anymore unless I absolutely have to. What I've trained myself to do, and I believe that anybody can do that, but this is, I just ask my spirit to wake me up at a certain time. Now, obviously, you don't want to start doing this when you have a schedule. Can you guys, is this okay with this? It's nighttime and I have the landscaper here.
Fine with me.
You can hear me okay? Okay.
Yep.
So, if you want to practice something like that, it's nice. I mean, how many of you really get jarred by the alarm clock going off, or are you dragging in the morning, you know, because you have to get up? These aren't natural. It's part of our society and part of what we have to do, but it's not natural. And we want to try to get our body back into the natural biorhythm and the natural rhythms that we actually function by. In this way, we are more intuitive, we are more free, we are more alive and healthy. And especially if you're energy sensitive, if you're a sensitive, this is of major importance for you. So you're going to learn to do things, you know, like saging after you're done with the computer, essential oils, all of those kinds of things. And, okay, so with the five senses, this is where we're going to get very, like, lovey-dovey. Because this is where I want you to kind of dive deep into helping yourself to come alive. Our five senses are the receptors to our brain. It's how we communicate with the outside world. It's how we intake information. And when we do our meditation, we are shutting out the outside world. When we're using our senses, we're navigating and feeling our way through the outside world. So I want you to take a look at and make this really, really fun, is to bring your senses back alive. How many of you guys feel that you're numb half the time? I mean, we stuff our feelings, we go throughout the day, we've got XYZ to do, we've got mental stress, we've got electronic bombardment, and how much of us are really taking that time to feel ourselves again? We start to numb out after a while. So let's see. I'm going to kind of go through each one of the senses. I give some examples in the book, which you guys will get an advanced reader copy soon. Probably within the next couple of weeks, because I'm still in the editing phase, and my it's got to go back to my managing editor. But with the, like, this is take sight. So I don't know what you guys do, but if you like to go out in nature, do something that is visually stimulating to your eyes. You may want to stare into a candle. You may want to go out and look at a beautiful scenery, looking at the sunset, looking at the sunrise. Spend some time, like, to go and just appreciate 5 minutes. Remembering to appreciate. With the smells, I use essential oils. So I just take a drop of essential oil, will rub my palms together and draw in the scent. That alone is going to shift your mood. Okay, so probably so will doing something visually stimulating. It also puts us in a state of gratitude. You know, remembering the beautiful things in life, the very, very simplistic, beautiful things in life. And that we're connected to it. We're connected to this field. And what does that feel like to us? When we eat our food, take time to appreciate the food that you're eating, rather than just scarfing down a meal because you're on your way to your next meeting. Or take some time when you're eating your next meal to eat really slowly and taste the food. Granted, if you're eating good food. Make something homemade for yourself, and or something that you really like and enjoy the food, or take yourself out to dinner, you know. What am I forgetting? So we have
here.
Hearing, yes. Well, the obvious one there would be maybe music. Listen to music that you like. That definitely, I mean, that's an obvious one that changes people's moods. And it also raises your vibration when you sing, when you move to the music. You can also listen to music that will help to clear your energy field, like higher vibrations. You can look up things on YouTube. But really what this is, why I focus on the senses, is because I want you to love yourself. I want you to remember that you are a human being, that you are a spiritual being in a human body, and this human body needs touch. Oh, that's the last one is touch.
Mhm.
So if you don't have a partner, get a hug from somebody. You know, touch yourself, rub yourself, hug yourself. What is that? Alejandra's got her stuffy there.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I don't have a stuffy. I don't have a stuffy or a partner.
Same.
I'm going to be on the move next year soon.
It's borrowed.
I'm calling that
It's
one
not
in.
mine, but
It's cute. Does he have a name?
I don't know. It's from a kid. She's 3 years old. It's from the house I'm staying, and she just told me to keep it and to sleep with me. So I'm doing that because she asked me to.
Nice. Ah, good. Caring for yourself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, since I think that's it for that part, but let's go ahead and go into, did everybody do the assignment that I sent via email? How many people did the assignment?
From Model 3?
What did you choose to do for yourself?
Oh, I took myself on a date on Monday.
Nice.
Well, yeah. Well, when we were going to have the coaching session, so I was in Starbucks and I bought myself a coffee and I enjoy it with myself. What else? While I'm doing my physiotherapy, I am at the end. I ask for a hot thing that you put on your back for releasing the pain, and also for ice in my ankle, on my ankle. And while I'm doing that, I meditate for 20 minutes. It's a guided meditation about how to empower yourself.
Nice.
I ate chocolate every day. Oh, and also
Good.
I changed my diet this week. I started eating more green stuff with a lot of nuts, and
Nice.
yeah, enjoying all the different flavors. What else? I also had a sensual session for myself. Oh, I moved out of the place that was toxic for me.
That's a big one.
Yes, yeah. Also because it was like a tough decision, because it was challenging. It was making me feel guilty to leave, but it was a must. It was something that I had to do for my own self, and so I just moved.
Good for you.
And yeah, what else I did? Oh, I also, well, I think that is pampering too, because I also paid for a lawyer. I wanted information. I didn't want like just people telling me whatever they thought. I wanted like to know exactly how things are. So I went to a consultation. So I hired well, I didn't hire a lawyer, but I went to a lawyer consultation to have information. So for me, it was also self-caring, but it's because it is not only what you search on the internet and what people tell you that is available or whatever. It's like getting the right information from the professional people. So What else I did?
Awesome.
Oh, I also danced, dance a little. Well,
What-
afterwards, my physiotherapist scolded me because she said that I'm not able to dance yet,
Okay.
but I do it like slowly.
Okay, and just so everybody else understands what she's talking about, Alejandra fractured her ankle a couple of months back. So she
Yeah.
had to have surgery, and she's been in recovery for that. And she's had to do a lot of sitting still.
Mm-hmm.
So
8 weeks.
she's got to do a lot of good inner work in this time. Sometimes the universe provides it that way for us, you know.
Yeah, when you don't understand the signs and you are stubborn, like when you were saying that you feel guilty when you're slow down, because I have been through that too. So when you don't understand that, then suddenly the universe is like, okay, you don't understand, you need to be calm and quiet. So for example, in my case, you will have this accident and then the surgery, so you are not able to move for 8 weeks. And I just had to surrender.
Well, good for you. You moved through it with a lot of grace. I'm very proud of you.
Yeah, thank you. I love you.
Okay, so does anybody else want to share what they are going to do?
I kind of started my not even realizing that this was going to come up. But after on the Thanksgiving break, I just committed to staying home, no running around, sitting down and watching some movies that I wanted to watch,
Perfect.
catching up on some shows that I wanted to watch, which were really, great shows, a lot of learning stuff, and just committing to my time. I'm like, I'm going to be home. I'm going to enjoy my home. I'm going to enjoy my kids. I've committed to that. I'm still there. I mean, it was an adjustment because I'm always running around with my sisters, but I was like, I'm done. I need to sit still. I need to relax. And it was great. Like now, and then after that, I just committed this week to not bringing any work home from work and going to bed on time.
Perfect.
9 o'clock, everything cuts off. Time for bed, get it rested. Kind of recovering from a cold. So I'm on it. I'm like, we're going to do the same thing this weekend. Just trying to be more committed to what I need to do in my life than running around with everybody else and dealing with their stuff.
Perfect. That's perfect for you. I love that.
Yeah.
I've been noticing that, which I love about that. When you guys started this program, your intuition and your guides and your soul and the universe has completely responded to you before I'm even teaching it in your life. And so even that just goes to show you your intentions alone, what they start to do when you start to really focus your intentions about what it is that you want, what it is that you need. The universe starts creating it for you right away.
And I think that's kind of funny. So last night I started, I committed to start reading again because I have like a crap ton of books and I don't read any of them and it's horrible. So I started reading The Untethered Soul again. I got about halfway through it like about a year ago. And so it started talking about you have to see yourself as an observer, like talking about like that voice with inside your head, like it's not really you. Especially when it's like a ton of negative talk. So it kind of, today I almost stepped back a little bit. So I woke up this morning and just felt the need to meditate. So I did that and I kind of like stepped back a little bit and I noticed things that I wouldn't normally notice. So like I took my dog out to walk this morning and I'm paying attention that it's cold outside, but I never really paid attention to like the way that the wind was blowing. I don't know if that sounds crazy, but like, it's just like, okay, wow, like the wind's blowing against my hair today. And now and then I'm walking in a different direction and it's blowing, my hair a different way. And so I started noticing that kind of stuff. And then I went to the gym on my lunch break and I never really noticed how they like mix songs or like how it's actually played. So I usually just listen to my headphones and I'm thinking I'm hearing it from like both headphones, like the same sounds, the same like voices, the same melodies. But then when I kind of like stepped back a little bit, I realized like they like you hear different sounds on this ear than you do in this headphone, and you hear different voices in this headphone than you do in this. And so it kind of just like brought me, it kind of just made me appreciate everything a little bit more.
Nice.
So
Nice.
that it kind of like when you were talking about senses and kind of just like stepping back and like paying attention and like enjoying it was kind of just like, oh wow, like that's what I was doing today, and I didn't even realize you were gonna talk about this.
Nice.
And as far as like my radical self-care for this week, I did intend on really sticking religiously to my spiritual practice. It's not working as planned, to be honest. I wanted to wake up and meditate and then journal and then go straight to the gym, and it just is not happening that way. But throughout this week, I've kind of found myself, it's not happening in the morning, but it's happening sporadically throughout the day. So yesterday was just a crazy work day, and I found, in the middle of the work day, I was getting really stressed, and I worked from home, so I literally stepped away into my bedroom and just meditated for 10 minutes. And I was like, okay, check, like I did that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's going really well. As far as everything else, I planned on taking myself on a breakfast date on Saturday morning. Don't really know where it's going to lead me, but it's just kind of like, I'm going to go to breakfast and then see how I feel from there and just spend time with myself.
Nice. I want to ask you one thing about your spiritual practice that you didn't do. What did you tell yourself about that?
So I definitely, like, when I wanted to do it, like, I almost wanted to make it like a regimen, I wanted it to become a habit. But when I found myself like waking up and not doing it, honestly, I just knew it was because I was tired. And there's really no excuse, because I woke up with my alarm and I was perfectly fine. I just didn't do it. I don't really know why. And in all honesty, after like once I realized I had to start working, I felt guilty about it. Why I just didn't like it.
Okay. I want to stop you right there, because this is a prime example of setting ourselves up to do things in a way that we think that we're supposed to do them, and it's not working out. Okay. So the primary thing that you want to do is, okay, it's not working out. You don't want to beat yourself up about it. You don't want to you didn't do anything wrong. You're trying something new. You're not sure how it works out for you. You were tired in the morning. It's perfectly acceptable to nurture yourself and sleep in the morning, or do whatever you need to do when you're tired. It's kind of a catch-22, because it's important to be a little bit disciplined with your spiritual practice, but you don't want to beat yourself up, and what you want to do is you want to ask yourself, what is going to work for you? And it sounds like you found something in between there where you got to check it off. So yay for you on doing that. And then just continue. A lot of what happens, and when we start to tell ourselves, oh, I'm not doing this right, I didn't do this right, I can't get this going on, and we beat ourselves up to the point that we don't want to even do it anymore, right? So we want to stay away. I wanted to make an example of this, because this is the kind of thing I was talking about with the honoring the flow that happens for us. So keep going with your flow. Keep going with your flow with the intention that you want to implement the spiritual practice, and where does that fit in for you? Where does that fit into the day? And you know what, Chris? That could be your spiritual practice. Honoring your flow. Taking that time to really nurture your spirit and honor the flow, and doing it in a meditative way. So I just wanted to insert that, because I thought it was a good example, and just remember what your thought patterns are around it. Don't beat yourself up. And kudos for still implementing it, because you still want to implement it. I still hold you for that. Is that helpful?
No, that's super helpful. And in all honesty, a lot of my burnout, and Debbie can attest to this. The way my mind works, it's I fill my schedule up so full that I don't have to think about the next thing, and that I don't have free time to sit there and dwell on whatever it is that's bothering me. So the fact that, like, you know, I'm waking up and, you know, even if I'm just sitting there, you know, flipping through social media or just laying there or going back to sleep, like, it's a big deal for me because I never gave myself that kind of time to just be okay with it. And so, you know,
Awesome.
just being able to kind of just go with the flow and just honor it, and, you know, like, just let things kind of unfold in the way that they need to. It cringes my inside because I just, you know, I like, all right, 6:30, you're gonna do this, and I mean, she can tell you, you know, like, uh, I would literally leave work together, and I'd go to a second job, and then I'd go to school, and then she'd be like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? I'm sorry, I don't have time. So it's like, you know, when you were touching on going with the flow, that also kind of like hit a little home with me, because I'm like, you know, that part of all of this is just, it's still so brand new to me, just not even having a full schedule.
Good. Well, keep going. Keep going with your flow and relaxing. I love hearing about all the relaxing. Does anybody else have any questions or anything that they need help with? Any kind of coaching? It doesn't have to be about what we're talking about.
I had a random question. So you mentioned in this call sage after using a computer. Can I just ask why? I only ask because I use a computer a lot, so that would be a lot of saging.
Yes. Well, you can get other things that will help, like lemongrass essential oil will also clear your energy field from the electromagnetic radiation. And there's other things that you can get, but sage basically is used by the indigenous culture, and it cleanses and clears the energy field. It cleans out all the toxins, and you can use that for anything. If you're in a mall and you come
I totally have sage in my apartment. I just didn't so is it just because the computer can deliver you and, you know, like, put negative energy into like your mind, or is it?
No, it's the electromagnetic radiation.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So what about like orgonite and shungite?
Yes, orgonite will work. I don't know about shungite, but if it's something that
it's also for the electromagnetic.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I recommend all of those things. We are on our device. We carry along the cell phones with us all the time, and we're on the computer so much, and we don't see that it is actually affecting our energy field.
Mm-hmm.
So being conscious of resetting, and you'll notice the difference, especially if you're sensitive. You know,
yeah,
I have a morning routine, and then I go jump in the pool. Like when I lived by the beach, I would go and jump in the ocean, and just to cleanse everything off.
Yeah. I also got orgonite from my phone. They sell like a sticker, like with the resin, and then you can just stick it on your phone. And when I was in school, I learned how to muscle test, and I show people, like, when you muscle test a cell phone, your body gets weak. When you muscle test a cell phone with orgonite on it, it doesn't weaken because it's protecting you.
That's accurate.
Yes.
I've done it to Chris.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. Yes.
You're welcome.
So all of these things, you know, as you're going forward, and as we're moving forward and learning about all these things, they're all affecting us. So we have to kind of address everything, you know, or look at everything and make the appropriate changes. It's not just what's coming from inside, it's coming from outside too. So we are doing it, we are in control of our energy too, especially when it comes to our thought patterns and our thinking. But a lot of the bombardment is coming from outside of us as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, thank you. Does anybody have anything else they want to share or ask?
Yeah, I want to ask, like, how to know when you are making the right decisions, because whenever I am practicing a meditation or, well, a spiritual practice, I set the intention maybe for that, but while I'm meditating, suddenly comes other topics that maybe are the ones that I have to fix or to deal with. And then when I finish the meditation, it's like, okay, so what I wanted to know is how to make the right decisions. But I went with the flow, and the flow took me to another intention besides the one that I set at the beginning. So how can I find, like, the answers of how to make the right decisions?
Well, it sounds like you're traveling in your meditation. Are you traveling, or is your mind is wandering?
No, it's more like traveling, like, like showing me the paths maybe, or the options.
Okay, so you are getting answers. Maybe you need to be a little bit more specific. So you're asking a question, and then you're receiving some sort of flow that you're being brought through but they may not pertain to what you've asked, or they do pertain to what
Exactly.
you've asked.
Yeah, because they are showing me like different things, not what I wanted, like, to know.
I would bring your focus back. I think it's a focus issue.
Okay.
So you're distracting yourself from getting the answer that you need. And so you're going off into the dream world land and looking at stuff that's unrelated. And that might be why you're still seeking the answers, because you distract yourself.
So
look at that on the spiritual level, and look at that, how you bring that into your physical life as well. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So is that something that you also do in the physical when you don't really have the answers to anything? You distract yourself by going off into la la land instead of actually doing what you really want to do?
Yeah, sometimes. So how can I focus? What do I do, like, to refocus again?
Just bring your energy back into your body instead of going out. And it's nice out there and you can spend time out there, but bring your focus back to your third eye and center into your third eye, and also into your solar plexus chakra. Okay, and bring the focus and the white light in. So you bring the information in.
Okay.
And then allow yourself to feel the answer.
Okay.
Or hear. Are you clairaudient or auditory or
Yeah, I have all. Okay. I can hear, I can visualize, smell, or feel. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I would suggest listen then. Listen for the answer and feel it in your sacral and your solar plexus. Feel it down here.
Okay. Yeah, because the last days what I have feeling a lot is like the anxious on the heart chakra. Like it's like if it's shrinking, and a little of anxiety.
Okay. Let's go into that a little bit further when we have our coaching session.
Okay.
And I'll help you process that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, guys, if that's everything, I'm going to let you go. I wanted to try this out for a couple of different reasons. I don't think Thursday night is the primary time for everybody. So your feedback is welcome for what is working for you, what you're getting the most out of. Like you guys all know, this is the initial program. So what's most helpful to you, let me know. What's not being helpful, let me know. We will go back to on the module 4, you'll get the video and the assignments for the week, and we'll still have the coaching call on Thursday, but it'll be more of just the group coaching.
Okay.
Okay.
And you guys can come with anything that you want. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to come with just questions about the assignments. It can be on anything that's going on in your life right now.
Okay, cool.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
And love yourselves up. No, I'm really serious. Like, we think that it's not, that we, you know, a lot of us think that it's not. It took me years before I could look at in the mirror and say I love you, and really actually kind of mean it, you know.
Mhm.
And it's okay, but we need to work on that.
I told Chris all the time, I'm like, I'm not a believer in fake it till you make it, but when it comes to self-love, you got to keep telling yourself until it's really there ingrained
Yes.
and you believe it.
Yes. And you are all loved and you are all doing amazing. Love up on yourselves this week. Extra.
Will do.
All right. Okay.
Well,
Have a good one.
congratulations to all. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Bye.